pop over on YouTube, be live on YouTube as well. Yeah. So what time is stopping? Not sure. All right, so let's go. Share the live, tell a neighbor, tell a friend. We looking at it again. You know, paper one, all the paper twos are done. So now it's just for us to lock in, lock in with the paper twos, paper ones, and you know, collect this grade that we want. If you want a grade one in maths, you gotta do well in paper one. If you want to pass, you gotta do well in paper one. I know people take paper one for granted. A lot of people, but you know. So let's go. A square has the same length. And once again, we're not doing any specific here, right? As I always do. I just have a whole heap of questions that would pop up in paper one. I won't come and do an entire year paper, right? So anybody that asks from now going forward, just tell them that we're just doing some random questions. As the question pop up, you know, you try to answer. Anyway, so a square has the same area as a rectangle with sides 9 cm by 16. What is the length of what is the length of the side of the square? What is the length of the side of the square? All right, so the square and the rectangle, they have the same, what it is, the same area. So that means you can find the area of the rectangle. You see it's 16 and 9, so 16 times 9. 16 times 9, 9 sixes, 6 nines, let me see, 6 and 66, 9, 54. Put the 4 in there, 9 ones 9, plus, this would be 1/4. So 1/4 is the area of the rectangle, and would be the area of the square as well. So we just find the square root of 1/4 because you know all the sides in the square are equal. And the square root of 1/4 is 12. So hence, one side of the square will be 12 cm. Nice and easy there. And we have another one, very similar. A square has the same perimeter as a rectangle with length 15 cm by 11 cm. What is the area of the square? So the square has the same perimeter as a rectangle. So in this case, they're talking about perimeter. And we know for perimeter, it's the distance around the shape. So the dimensions of the rectangle is 15 cm by 11 cm. So they have the same perimeter this time. So we can find the perimeter of the shape. So we know this side is 15, this side would also be 15, and this side would also be 11. So 15 and 15 is 30, 11 and 11 is 22. So 22 plus 30 will give me 52. So 52. So that means when I find the area of this square, it's 52 as well. We know all the sides in the square are equal. So to find the length of one side, it will just be 52 divided by 4. So 4 can go into 5 one time. 4 ones 4. Subtract this, I get 1. Bring down the 12, bring down the 2. So 4 into 12, 3. So 4 3 is 12. So this will be 0 0. So one side of the square is 13. And they want the area of the square. So it will be 13 times 13, which will give me 169, which is D. So we see how somebody say they hoard, they might not change other people this year. You know, I don't know where I hear these things from. You hoard it from your friend. How does your friend know? Does your friend work at CXC? No. You saw it on the status. Did that status come from CXC on WhatsApp? Obviously, no. So I don't know where I would hear these things from, right? Yeah, please don't come. Don't hear the chat. Oh, come on. You're smarter than that, man. You're smarter than that. The perimeter of a square is 56, what is the area of the square? What is its area in cm square? So the perimeter is 56. So we know perimeter, we add up all the sides, we get 56. So to find one side of the square to be 56 divided by 4, did we just find? No, it wasn't 56, it was 52. So 56 divided by 4, 4 can go into 5 one time, 4 ones 4. So you subtract here, you get 1, you bring down the 6. So 4 can go into 16 4 times. So 4, 4, 16. So this should be 0, 0. So one side of the square is 14 cm. So I know 14 by 14 is definitely 196. All right, 196. I see some persons do it in the chat. All right, yeah, yes, 196. So as you can see, these questions are similar. The approach will be similar. So, you want to learn how to work these questions and not just remember the answer, right? You want to know how we arrive at the answer as well. All right, that is important. So another similar one. So the perimeter of a square is 48 cm. What is the area? So we know we got the perimeter, we got a part of sides, we get 48. So to find one side, that will help us to find the area. So 48 divided by 4, 4 can go into 4 one time, 4 fours. That'll be 0. You bring down the 8. 4 can go into 8 two times. 4 2 is 8. This will be 0, 0. So one side is 12. So hence the area of the square would be 12 times 12. And we learned this in primary school to be 144. All right, so my math teacher told me they may be changing up the paper one maths. Okay, how's your math teacher? Your math teacher got links at CXC? Your math teacher can link at CXC. Your math teacher tell you that because they want you to study, and indeed you should study and learn how to work these things and not just remember the answer. Right? Math teacher can links at CXC, no one. Anyways. Tell you want to practice, right? Practice a lot. Learn how to work these questions. Don't just try to cram the answer. All right. So this one refers to the following diagram for trapezium. So the area of the trapezium PQRS is the area of the trapezium. So we know to find the area of a trapezium, it's half the sum of the parallel sides, which is A plus B, multiplied by the height, the perpendicular height. So nothing big and fancy here, just gotta find the area. So we know it's half the sum of the parallel sides, which will be 8 and 18. So 8 cm plus 18 cm times the height, which is 5 cm. So 18 plus 8, that will give me how much by 26. 18 and 6 is 26. So half of 26 is 13. 13 times 5. So 5 3 is 15. 5 1 is 5. This one here you get 6 to 5. So 6 to 5, which is B. Nice and easy, cool, calm. Sorry you laughing. Serious thing. So as a past student, you teach. Okay. All right. Okay. Right. All right, Mr. Real line. I hear you. I hear you. All right, so a very similar one as well. So you see the thing, right? The thing about these questions, why I see why it's important to remember how to work it. You see this here, you use the formula, you find the area. And another year, they brought back a similar question, and you have to use the formula again. But you're not using the formula to find the area. In this case, you're using the formula to find the height. Right? In this case, they gave us the area as 65. Right? So they said if the area of the trapezium PQRS is 65, then the height is, I know I want students that would cram this question and remember the height was what the height was in the previous question, but that is a waste of memory, right? Right? All right, anyway, so the area is half the sum of the parallel sides, which is A plus B times the height. So area, they told us the area is 65 cm square. So I'll just leave for the CM square for now. So 65, and that is equal to half the sum of the parallel side, which is 8 plus 18 multiplied by the height. So we got to use some amount of algebra here. So anyway, so 8 and 18 is 26. Half of 26 is 13. So 13 times the h will be 13h is equal to 65. This is just some algebra. All right, when you work out everything here, you end up with 13, and you multiply that by h, you get 13h. So to find for the height, it will be 65. Take over 13, it will divide. Divided by 13 will equal to the height. All right, and some students that even if you're not good with algebra, you got some answers here. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, if you're not good with algebra, but this all depends on timing, I would say. You know, you do a little substitution until you get 65. All right, substitute these answers here until you get 65. But time. You can't spend too long on this question. Anyways, 13 divided by 65. So let me see, by 13 and 13 is 26. 26 and 26 is 26 and 26 is how much by 52. 52 plus 13 is 65. So indeed, I did that 5 times. So the answer is D. 13 times 5 will give me 65. All right. All right. So how Daniel say about the maths paper too? Daniel said the exam was okay. Daniel are you using Daniel as a measuring stick? He said the exam was okay. Also, anyways, how we looking chat? Let me show you the live. When is maths? Today is Friday. We got Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I think maths is Wednesday, right? So you got a lot of time to practice. Anyways, so the area of, by the way, YouTube, y'all hear me clear? The last time I listened back to the video on YouTube, I heard that I sounded as though I was hoarse. Sounded as though the video was in slow motion. Y'all hear me better now on YouTube? Not sure what happened there. So the area of a rectangle is 53.6 cm square. If the length is multiplied by 4 and the width is half, then the area would be. So here's the thing. If you multiply the length by 4, that is the same as, that will result the same as multiplying this here by 4 as well. And then if you have this, if you have the width, that is the same as half in the answer. So everything that we do to the length and the area, we can half it because everything will be multiplying, right? So we multiply this by 4. So 53.6 multiplied by 4. So I can bring this at the end, I'll end up with, so I bring this at the end, I end up with 536 multiplied by 4. So 4 times 6 is 24. This will go here. 4, 3 is 12. 12 and 2 is 14. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 and 1 would be 21. So I bring this back. I bring this point back in. So now I have 214.4. Then they said the width is halved. So when something is half, that means you're multiplying by half or you're dividing by 2. All right, so I can divide this by 2. 214.4 divided by 2. 2 can go into 2 one time. 2 times 1 is 2. Bring this down here. Bring down the 1. 2 can go into 1 0 times. And then I bring down the 4. 2 can go into 14 7 times. 2 7s 14. 40 minus 40 will be 0. I meet the point. I add in a point here. And I bring down the 4. 2 can go into 4 2 times. So 107.2, which is C. How we looking? How we looking, chat? We beating the maths, we beating the paper 1, or the paper 1 beating we? Beating the paper one, beating me. All right, love to see it. Remember, we got clear at least 55 for this paper one, right? We got clear at least 55 for this paper one. That is our aim. We can aim nothing less than 55. So area of a rectangle is 40 cm squared. If the length is multiplied by 4 and the width is halved, then the area would be. So once again, different question, similar approach. So whatever we do to the length and the width, we can do it to the answer, which is the area. So they said the length is multiplied by 4, so we can do 40 times 4. 4 times 0 is 0, 4, 4 is 16. And then they said the width is halved. So we can halve this. If we have 160, we'll end up with 80. So 80, which is C. Any of my students on this live? Any of my students watching the live either on YouTube or TikTok? Or they sleeping? Yes. All right. Arm 3. Okay. All right. All right. I'm assuming some of the people that are watching you are future students. All right. I hope to see. Can't wait to begin teaching the persons who will be future students. Anyways, item 36 refers to the following diagram, which shows a cuboid. The volume of the cuboid is 320 cm cube. The height is 8 cm. If the length of the square base is 8 cm, what is the value of H? So they said the base is square. So that means all, the thing is this all look, they say it doesn't look like a square, which is weird. CXC normally, the questions are normally, the diagrams are normally, they look like the things that they're trying to say. So they said that the base is squared. What is the value of H? So we know volume is equal to length times width times the height. So in this case, it told us oops. In this case, it told us the base is square. So instead of length times width, we can just say length times length because they said it's a square. So let's put in the things that we know. We know the volume is 320. So we'll put in the 320 as the volume. And the length is, they said is 8. So we can do 8 times 8. 8 times 8, and then multiplied by the height. That is what we want to find. So 8 times 8 is how much? By 8 is 64. 64. I think so, yeah. So 64 times H will give me 64H, and that is equal to 320. All right, so the 16 is multiplying, I take double divide, so 320 divided by 16 is equal to the height. So remember, you don't have calculators, so you gotta wire, right? You don't have calculators. So you gotta find ways to make it. So let me see. 16 divided by 2 is 8. This divided by 2 is 160. This divided by 2 is 4. This divided by 2 is 80. This divided by 4 ones 4. 4 into 80, 20. No. Hold on, I did something wrong. Hold on, let me go back this again. Oh, 64. Where did I get 16 from? Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. So 64, eh? Wow, oh, wow, oh, wow, wow. You gotta be careful, careful, careful. So we don't have calculators, right? Don't have calculators at all, so gotta be careful. So yeah, let's divide this now. So this divide, maybe we don't have calculators, so we gotta find smart ways to do this here. So 64 divided by 2, I would say that is 32. I divide this by 2 is 160. And this will be 16. This will be 80. And 4 can go into 16. 4 can go into 16 for 4 times. This will be 20. And 20 divided by 4 will give me 5. Right? So the answer is 5. So no calculator. I don't know how we'll do it, but they got to find smart ways in doing this thing and also ways that will save you time, eh? Ways that will save you time. So another question now, similar as well. The volume of the cuboid is 320 cm cube. The height is 5 cm. If the cuboid has a square base, what is the length of one side of the base? You see, in this case, you are asked to find the value of h. Now they gave us h and they want us to find the length of one side of the base, which is a square. So we use the same formula, length times, instead of width, we'll do length times the height. They gave us the volume as 320. So length times length, we can say that is L squared times the height, which is 5 in this case. So now we got to solve for L squared. So we take over the 5, it will divide, so we'll have 320 divided by 5. So 3 can go into 3, 5 can go into 3, 5 can go into 32 6 times. 5, 6, 30. 6, 5 is 30. So this will be 30. This will go back with 2. You bring down the 0. So 5 can go into 24 times. 5, 4 is 20. So this should be 0. So 320 divided by 5 will be 64. So L squared is equal to 64. So to find L, we just got to take over the square to become the square root. So the length of one side is the square root of 64. And we know when we square root 64, that will give us the beautiful answer of 8. Because 8 times 8 will give us 64. So hence, A is the answer here. Very similar question. Different, well, very similar but different, but same approach and slightly different working, but same approach. Eh? All right. CXE was worthless this year. This is wickedness. All right. Oh no, never mind. My bad. I thought I thought this question was about to ask us to find the area, but they want us to find the perimeter, which is not so worthless, right? Anyway, so the perimeter of the trapezium is, so careful, right? Some people run and go and find, I sure CXE got one of these answers here, will give you the area. Anyway, so we know to find perimeter, we just got to add all of the sides together. Nothing big and fancy, no formula to remember once you're dealing with perimeter. Just got to add all the sides together. So this would be 0.41, 0.21, 0.18, 0.12. Just got to add all together. Back in primary school. I can already see the answer. Common sense will tell me the answer is B, right? Common sense. Because I know when I add all these things together, I can't get 92. Nor could I get 920. Nor it can't be lower. Right? So common sense will tell me the answer is B. Right? Common sense. But let's work it out still. 1 and 1, 2, 2 and 2, 4, 4 and 8, 12. So this will be 12 there. Put in that there, you put the 1 at the top. 1 and 1, 2, 2 and 2, 4, 4 and 4, 8, 8 and 1, 9. Put back the decimal point, put back the 0. So 0 point. Hold up. My bad, man. No. No. Hey, who's going on with this question? Oh, yeah. So they want the area in cm. Oh my. You gotta be careful, eh? Cm. Should highlight the cm by. They want it in cm, not meters. So 0.92. So this is it in meters because all these things are meters. So we need to convert this to meter. To convert this to cm, let's put on the mnemonic many. Chinese died many days. Hong Kong. So we want to convert from meters to cm. So we just got to multiply by 100. So when you multiply this by 100, you just move the decimal point 2 times to the right. So we jump 1, 2. So my assessment was very much wrong, right? So this is 92 is the answer, 92 cm. So they did not see this cm here at all. So 92, which is C, right? Careful, careful there, right? Careful. This one was a very, not so, I would say it was a tricky one, but you had to be very careful. And this was at number 32. So probably at number 32, you did a lot of work for number 1 to 31. So you don't want to be too tired and miss this here. You might be thinking the exam, oh, the answer is not here. But let's read the question twice. All right, read the question twice. All right. So now, similar question again. So as you can see, this is the challenge when persons try to just cram answers. The questions will come back very similar, but they're different. All right. In this one, they're asking us to find the area of the trapezium. All right. Just now we were given similar shape, but you're asked to find perimeter in cm. All right. So to find the area of this trapezium, we know the formula is half the sum of the parallel sides, which is A plus B. These two will be the parallel sides, times the height, the perpendicular height. So it's half the sum of the parallel sides, which will be 12 and 8. So 12 and 8, I can add that one time. 12 and 8 would be 20. So half of 20 multiplied by the height. So half of 20 is 10. Sorry, the height would be 3. So half of 20 would be 10. 10 times 3 would just be 30. So this here is 30 cm squared, which is nice and easy. C. Right? Nice and easy C. These kind of questions I like. I like these kind of questions for number one, multiple choice. When I say I like them because you want to be able to, easily half of 20, when I multiply that answer by this here, you can work those things easily. When you have this, you end up with a decimal and so on, I don't like those kind of questions for paper one. Not that they're hard, but they take up a lot of time, right? But let's carry on. The distance around the edge of a circular pond is 88 meters. The radius in meters is. So when we talk about distance around anything, we're talking about the perimeter. And since we're talking about a circular pond, we're talking about the distance around would be the circumference. And we know to find the circumference, since we're dealing with radius, to find the circumference of a circle, it's 2 pi r. All right, I think this formula will be given to you, but this one's a nice and easy one to remember. 2 pi r. So they told us the distance around is 88 meters. So we can say instead of circumference, we can put back 88 meters is equal to 2 pi r. And they want us to find the radius in meters. So the radius here, we just got to take over the 2 pi, and that will give us the radius. So the 2 pi is multiplying the r. So when we take it over, this will become 88 divided by 2 pi is equal to r. So 88 divided by 2 pi, that is simply d. And in some cases, they will give you the answer as far the 4 over pi. Right? In some of the multiple choice. Some of the multiple choice will give you as far the 4 over pi. In this case, it's 88 over 2 pi. On leaving Trinidad, any Trinidadians here? The Trinidadians in the chat? So on leaving Trinidad, the time on the pilot's watch was 2300 hours. When he arrived at his destination in the same time zone on the next day, his watch showed 3 hours. How many hours did the flight take? So we know 2300 hours. And then the next day he reached at 3 o'clock. After 23 is 24, that would be midnight. That is 1 hour, and then 1 o'clock, another hour. So this is just before. So 4 hours it took, right? If you got to watch, set your watch to 2300 hours and then skip and see how many hours to skip until. But common sense today, this is 4 though. All right, if nothing big and fancy here. And you see, similar question now, but they changed it up a bit. So on leaving Trinidad, the time on the pilot's watch was 2300 hours. When he arrived at his destination in the same time zone on the next day, his watch showed 3 hours. If the average speed of the aircraft for the entire journey was 625 km per hour, then the distance covered was, so we see every hour he covered 625 km. So first of all, let's see how many hours the journey actually took. So the journey took, he left at 2300 to reach at 3 hours, so he took 4 hours. So if he took 4 hours and he was traveling 625 km every hour, this would be 625 times 4. I can see the answer. Anyways, let's work it out. So 4 times 5 is 20. 4 2 is 8. 8 and 2 would be 10. So I put in a 0 here. 4 times 6, 4 is 24. And 1, 25. So 2500 km, so which is A. Nice and easy, nice, cool, calm. Get our marks. All right, this one here, the one hurt our head a bit. So very similar question, slightly different. So a man leaves home at 22:15 hours and reaches his destination at 4 hours on the following day in the same time zone. How many hours did the journey take? So we see journey took, if he left at 22, 23, that is 1 hour. 12, there's another hour. Let me see, to 23, there's 1 hour. 12 o'clock, there's another one. 0, 0, there's another one. 1, and then 2, and then to 3, and then to 4. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. Make sure I count right by. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. I think I count wrong. So he didn't reach till to 4. So we go to 3, this is 5 hours. And then from here, you went 5 minutes. So 5 hours and 5 minutes. So 5 minutes would be 5 over 60. So you reach 3 o'clock. Remember, you reach 3 o'clock is actually 3:15. And then to reach to 400 hours, you gotta travel another 5 minutes. So that is how you end up with 5 hours and 5 over 60, because it's 60 minutes in 1 hour. So this will be 15 can go into 5 3 times, 50 can go into 64 times. So this is 5 3/4, which is B. All right, B there. You gotta be careful with this one. All right. And this is 23:15, 0 1 1:15, 1:15, 2:15, and then 3:15, and then we want to reach a 4 o'clock, so we gotta add on another 5 minutes. So 5 over 60. So B there. Another similar question. You see how all these questions got variation? All right. So a man leaves A at 1600 hours and arrives at B at 1930 hours, traveling at an average speed of 550 km per hour. A and B are in the same time zone. The distance from A to B in km is, so somebody says it's not really math, it's logic. So what is mathematics? What is mathematics? Come on, come on. Maths is logic, right? Right, Dad? When we think of maths, we think of algebra, but maths, the pillar of mathematics, the foundation of mathematics is our logic and, right? Anyway, so 1600 hours and the man arrived at 19 hours. Let's see how long was that journey. So 16 and 1, 17 and 1, 18, and then 19, so there's 3.5 hours, so 3.5. So 3.5 hours. Let's make sure that is correct. 16 and 1, 17 and 1, 18 and 1, 19. So 3.5 hours. And then the man traveling at 550 km per hour. So every hour he traveling 550. So to find the distance, it will be 550 multiplied by 3.5. So I can turn this into a nice whole number. I move that out one time. This will be times 35. So we gotta know these kind of multiplications, eh? Anyway, so 0 here, 3 5 is 15. Putting that 5 there, 3 5 is 50. This should be 550. Why? Careful, 550, not 555. Putting a 0 there, 5 times 0 is 0. 3 5 is 15. Putting that 5 there, 3 5 15 and 1 16. And then 5 times 0 is 0. 5 5 is 25. 5 times 5 is 25 again, and 2, 27. So 0 there, bring down the 5, add the 5. This will be 5. 5 and 7 is how much by? 5 and 5 is 10, and 2, 12. So this is 12. Bring in a 2 there. Put this 1 at the top there. So 3 and 6 is 9. I bring down the 1. So I move this decimal out one time, so I got to bring it back in another time. So I get 1,925 km. That is how far the two A and B are apart. So D is the answer here. What level is this? I would love to live in Jamaica. It seems so cool. It's very random. That's a very random comment. Okay. So the distance around a lake is 8 km. On the map, the distance around the lake is represented by 2 cm. The scale on the map is, so the actual distance around the lake is 8 km, and this is represented by 2 cm. Let's make sure both of them are on the same units. When things are different units and you want to compare them, you want to convert them to 1 unit. So let's convert this 8 km to cm. So 8 km, we want to convert it to cm. So let's do it. Many Chinese died in many days, Hong Kong. So we convert from km to cm. So we convert from km to cm. So we put a 0 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is how much by? 100,000. All right, so 8 km is equal to 800,000 cm. So this can be represented as a ratio. So they said 2 cm is represented by 8 km. This will be 2 to 800,000. All right, of course, I don't have that answer here, so we know we can divide this by both sides by 2. So then 2 divided by 2 is 1. 800,000 divided by 2 would be 400. Big ones, 400,000. So the answer here is D. All right. Convert everything to 1 unit, you know. And this concept was tested in paper 2 this year when they had that very simple ratio question and we just had to, divide everything by a common factor and then you put in that answer. I think you got 2 marks. Same concept. All right, this one. How long have you been live? How long was the live going? Oh, for 2 minutes, not bad. Mrs. Clark or Miss Clark arranged the 15 test scores of our students in order of size and selected 8 score for reporting purposes. Which of the following statistical measure did Miss Clark obtain? Mean, mode, range, median. This is a giveaway. This is a giveaway, man. This is a giveaway. Let me see. A 15 test score, she arranged it in size and select the 8 one. The 8 would be the middle one. So we know obviously she selected the median. D. Item 31 refers to the following diagram of a square and a rectangle. Which of the following statements is true about the perimeter of the square and the rectangle? So let's find the perimeter for us. So we see the perimeter here would be 12. 12 4 is how much by 12 and 12 is 24. 24 and 24, 48. So 48 here. And the perimeter for here would be 9 and 9 is 18. 16 and 16 is 32. So this would be 10. And this would be 50. So 50. So let's see. Perimeter of A is equal to the perimeter of B. So they want to know which is true. So perimeter of A is equal to perimeter of B? Nah. Perimeter of A is greater than, so this is A and this is B. So the perimeter of A is greater than B? Nah. Perimeter of A is greater than or greater than or equal to B? Nah. Perimeter of A is less than the perimeter of B. Yeah. D is the answer there. It's a beautiful one. The lengths of the side of a triangle are x, 2x, and 2x. So x, 2x, and 2x. If the perimeter is 20 cm, what is the value of x? So once again, we know perimeter, we just add up all of the sides. When you add this side, and this side, you get the perimeter, which is 20. I'll leave out the cm for now, so I can add 2x plus 2x plus x, and that should give me a perimeter of 20. So 2x and 2x is 4x. 4x and 4x plus x is 5x. So 5x is equal to 20. The value of x would simply be, take over the 5, it will divide. So you'll have 20 divided by 5 will give me 4. X is equal to 4. All right, which is A. How many kilograms are in 1 ton? All right. How many kilograms in 1 ton? Let me see. Drop it quick. Let me see. How many kilograms in a ton? This is a giveaway, right? This is a giveaway. You want to remember this one. This comes a lot. How many kilograms in a ton? We know simply it's 1,000. C, right? 1,000. 1,000 kilograms in 1 ton. Kumisha is in the chat. Kumisha, thanks. Nice of you to grace us with your presence, Kumisha. So the area of a triangle is 60 cm squared. Its base is 12 cm. What is the perpendicular height in cm of the triangle? So we got the area. So the area is equal to 60. The base is 12, they want to know the height. So do we know the formula for to find area of a triangle? In this case, it would be half base times the height. This can actually be represented as the area is equal to base times height divided by 2. Both of them mean the same thing. However you want to use it, right? So let's go. They told us the area is 60. So instead of area, we'll put 60 is equal to the base, which they told us is 12, times the height, and that is what we want to find. So we'll just say h all divided by 2. So you can do two things. We can say 60 is equal to 12h divided by 2. So we can divide this 12 divided by 12 by 2 to give us 6. So you have 6h is equal to 60. We take over the 6 to the divides, we'll have 60 divided by 6 is equal to the height. So the height would simply be equal to 616. So the height is equal to 10. So which is B, right? Nice and easy. And the thing about these questions, right, folk, the thing about these questions, even if you don't know, you're too good with the algebra, common sense will tell you, all right, the form is half base times height. So let me see, half times the base, which is 12 times, let me try out one of these, right? Let me try out the 10. And let me see if that will give me 60. Because that's the answer they told us. So half of 12 is 6. 6 times 10 is 60. Right? You don't even need to know any big fancy algebra to do this. Right? Just plain old common sense and substitution. And that is the beauty about multiple choice. You can always substitute the answer to see if you did the correct thing. All right. So we are almost at the halfway. We are almost at the hour mark. Won't go too long. If it took a speedboat 9 hours to travel a distance of 1,800 km, what is its average speed in km per hour? All right, this is negative. One means it per hour. So the boat took 9 hours to travel this distance. So I know is the average speed. So we just got to do some division. 1,080 divided by 9. 9 can go into 1. 9 can go into 10 one time. 9 ones 9. So you subtract this, you have 1, you bring down the 8. So 9 can go into 8 two times. 9 2 is 18. And you bring down the 0. 9 can go into 0 times. So 9 times 0 is 0. So the answer is 120. All right, 120. Just C. Some people would stop at the 12 because, you got pure zeros, but remember you carry down the 0. So you still got to divide the 9 by the 0 that you bring down. All right, this is primary school work. All right, primary school, but the primary school maths is what gonna beat some portions, right? The primary school maths. So let me just erase this piece so I can get this here. All right, this is a nice one to end off. Item 36 refers to the following diagram, which shows a compound shape made up of a rectangle and two identical semicircles on either of the short sides. This is a nice question. Nice as in, it's an application question. So the area of the compound shape above in terms of pi is, so the area of this compound shape. So we got to find the area for this piece inside here. And then we got to find the area for the two semicircles. And then we add them together and, and manipulate it so that it looks like one of these. So let's find the area of this inner piece. So they give us the length as 15 cm, and we got to find this width. So here's the thing. So from here to here is 15, and they told us this whole thing is 27. So that means 15 is from 27. 27 subtract 15. This will give me 12. So this whole thing, this piece here From here to here and here to here will give me a total of 12. So since the two are equal, I know this piece will give me 6 and this piece will give me 6. So that means the radius for here is 6 cm and the radius for here is 6 cm. So anyways, if the radius is 6 and we see this diameter here will be 2 radii, so that means the length there would be 6 and 6, which is 12 cm. So to find the area of this inner piece, I can say 15 times 12. That will give me the area for that inner piece. So 15 times 12, this will be 0. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 5s 10. 2 1s 2 and 1 3. So this is 180. So 180 is the area for this inner piece here. Then I can find the area of the two semicircles. So the two semicircles, I can just combine it and use it as one circle. So I can say the area of the circle would be pi r squared. So the area here would be pi times r, which is 6 times 6. So this would be 6 times 6 is 36. 36 times pi would be 36 pi. So hence the area of the compound shape would be 180 plus 36. So 180 plus 36 pi. And of course, I don't see any answers as 180 plus 36, so I gotta do some factorization, right? To see which one is the best answer, or which one is the correct answer, not the best. So let me see, if I factor out 6 here, I won't get this. If I factor out 36, can I factor out 36 from 180? Let me see. Can I factor out 36 from 180? Yeah, man, I think so. So I can, right? I can factor out 36 from 180. So I can factor out 36 from here. So let me see. 36. I factor out 36 from 180. 180 divided by 36. Maybe you don't have calculator, right? You don't have calculator to you just go and type in 180 divided by 36. All these things got to be done without your calculator, right? So 6 can go into 36. 6 times 6 can go into 180. 30 times 6, 6 into 35. So 36 divided by 180 is 5 plus 36 divided by 36 pi would give me pi. So the answer here is 36, open bracket 5 plus pi, which is B. You can type it in your brain? Okay. Okay. Your brain's younger than my brain. Why would you want me in your brain? Your brain's younger than my own, man. My brain old. Been on this earth 53 years already. Yeah, now come on the earth. Anyway, so this is a good place to end off. Let me end the live on